we're going to begin today with Colby. Colby says, do you have recommendations for how to create alignment between different parts of my own self that seem to want different things and have different strategies? For example, a longing at times in me to expand my impact in the world versus the parts of me that simply want to focus on maintaining the peace and spaciousness of my own inner experience. Hey, Colby.
Good morning. It's
Good
lovely.
morning.
to-
Where do you want to begin with that? What do you already know, and where do you want me to weigh in?
Yeah, thank you. I would love to share a little bit more, and please bring any questions as they arise, and I'll try to condense it to the essence.
Okay.
I have created enough passive income and financial stability for myself that I have a lot of choicefulness in my life. And I love that. I'm very grateful for that. At the same time, it leaves me a little bit thinking what to do with my time and my energy. And at times I worry about what's going on in the outside world
Mhm.
and wonder, what can I do about it? And at times I refocus, I bring that home into me and I say, well, I know that I can't, it's not up to me to save the world. And even if I thought it was, there's a lot of things that are out of my hands. So I bring that focus inward and I focus on my needs and my experience and feeling peace inside rather than trying to create peace outside. And at other times, I find that there are a lot of gifts that I possess that can really make a difference for others. For example, I join a Byron Katie WhatsApp group where I can jump in and facilitate others doing the work. I find that very meaningful. And I sometimes struggle to find a balance of, do I want to try to create more wealth for myself? Do I want to
Mhm.
make more impact on the world? Or do I want to focus more time on being with my boys and being in nature? And sometimes feel pulled in those different directions. And I don't always know how to handle those conversations. Like in your calls, a lot of the conversations are between one person and another person. And when it's inside of me, and all of those parts are meaningful and beloved, I would love to experience a harmony, an alignment that says all my parts are heard, felt, seen, and welcomed, and the needs they're speaking for are lovingly met.
Great. So be in conversation with all of your parts and let them know that all of their needs matter and find ways of meeting them. Where does that get challenging for you?
It gets challenging when I try to take that to the level of strategy. So if I think like, okay, great, I want to write a book and put a website together and build a client base, even build a group like you have and offer advice and feedback and empathy and hold space for people. And I get really ambitious. And then I get fired up about that idea for a little bit. And then I hit a wall, like
Mhm.
procrastination or inner resistance.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
It's
that's different.
like, yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose in that case, I might give all of those parts a name: the resistor, the inner conflict, the visionary, the contributor, the hero, the facilitator. Like, I would start giving these internal voices some names. Right now, I'm just naming the roles. You might want to use roles, you could use names. And then I would, like, in my imagination and maybe in a journal space or maybe through voice memos, I would sit down and have a conversation with them. What is important to you? What are the needs that you're going to bat for? What part of me are you like cheerleading? And I might have them talk to one another. The first step would be to see, know, name, acknowledge, surface, be in relationship with. There's going to be a step where it sounds like a part of it is the prioritizing of what actually gets traction. There's lots of different ideas and there's lots of different things that you are caring about and feeling some inspiration to bring into being. Then you're going to need some kind of a managed project manager in you to let everybody know who goes first, who gets to wait. We can do many, many things in our lives, but we cannot do them all at once. And so then it becomes a question of which of these is really speaking to me in the now as the part that I want to do this week or today. And it can sometimes help us when we take, there are these calendars online that you can buy that are like, they map out all of the weeks, all of the days of your life. Like you can literally have every day of your life is, like 100 years on this calendar. And it's all little numbers, but it's a visual that shows you, like, if you expect to live to 100, exactly how many weeks you have left. And it can be a really sobering, but also very inspiring way to say, I actually have a limited amount of time left. What feels most important to my inner being to bring into being? Which of these needs? There are many that are going to be nice to have, fun to have, but there are going to be some things that will emerge for you as I will feel like my life did not reach its fullest potential if I don't do this thing. And I'd begin with those. I would begin with those. And I would let all the other ones know you matter to me. I love you. You're beautiful. You have a great vision. And it's a not yet. We may get to you and we may not because these are the pieces that actually feel like they are a higher priority. But there'll probably be a process for you to discerning what the priorities are. Is that true? What comes up for you hearing some of that?
Yeah, I'm curious if you have any insight into how to make that process more clear, how to have more clarity in that
Mhm.
process, because I often find, yeah, a difficulty establishing that clarity through that process. Like I'm
Mhm.
spending the time examining the different things that come up for what has a larger pull and what feels more aligned with, as you said, what are the things that I want to really bring into being in my life.
Mm.
And I
So
get,
there's,
yeah, I get a
yeah,
chorus of answers
y-
like just be you. And
yeah. But what does that mean? What does just be me mean? I am a multifaceted being, and there are many me's that want to just be.
you get
That's right. And there isn't time and space for every single option inside of me to get my fullest attention because I have this moment here and now, and I've got to make choices along the way. So, what has helped me, I don't know what is going to actually be the path for you, but let me tell you what's helped me. Working with another person whose more strategic and organized brain can help me organize my very emergent, random, and abstract brain. I need another person who has a more concrete, linear thinking style and who also has a depth of understanding of the psychological dynamics that are going on underneath my inner resistance and procrastination. Now, I actually know a really good coach. If you would like a name, I'm happy to send his name to you, but I would find someone that can help listen and reflect back and do some of the discernment, questioning, and sorting in a very visual way. I need things in a visual way. So when I've got big whiteboards and things are going into buckets and I can see the flow charts and I've got it outside of me on a big whiteboard where I can begin to externalize it and work with it out there, I find that exceedingly helpful because in my mind, it is too dense and it is too convoluted and it is too associated. And so I get lost. And I also am not that great personally at doing that kind of strategy work in my own life. So I've learned to find people who are really good at that and then have them help me. So this may be a case where you start identifying what kind of skills you need and talents you need that you can outsource to someone else who can help you do this work. What do you think about that?
thank you. I think I would very much enjoy having some both the accountability but also the structure,
Yes,
combination of those two things.
100%. We can't do everything alone. Like with myself, I cannot do it alone. And many of you know that I'm working on a book. I often tell myself, I can just write. Like, I don't need to pay someone to help me. I can just sit down and write. And then I do that. And then do I do any writing? No, I think about it a lot. Right. But then when I'm working with someone and I know I have an appointment every Friday morning and I'm going to need to report in, that keeps me going. And so it's one example, but I resist that because I'm very much a lone wolf and I am aware of the trauma response that that is. But I very much have I should be able to do everything by myself and I'm the only one who can help me person. And it is a learning that I have had in my lifetime to, first of all, get out of the grandiosity of that. Because I also am a very limited and subject. There are some things I'm really good at, but there are many things that I am really not that good at. And to find the people in my life who are good at that, who could support me, has been a learning. That's part of what it means for us to be interdependent. That's part of what it means for us to be in life enriching community is to let the people who have those gifts use them. I'll use the gifts that I have, but we all help each other. And that kind of relational accountability, at least for me, is really, really motivating. Not the shaming, directive kind, but the encouraging, inspiring. Tell me what you've been working on. Tell me where you're at. Let me ask you some questions that maybe I don't have to think up on my own. And I'm imagining that might be a good next step for you.
Thank you. As you were expressing that, it touched a part deeper in me, realizing in school, I learned to be very independent. I
Yeah.
made fantastic grades by myself,
Yeah.
competing against classmates for
Yeah.
GPA and hierarchies,
Yeah.
and really didn't have a lot of training in that arena
Yeah.
of creating projects together, forming teams,
Yeah. Yeah.
relying on other people to, I had to do everything. Math, English, all the different
Everything.
skills were on me entirely.
So maybe there's an unwinding of that and an unlearning of that and a coming back into community again. I think you're describing that kind of schooling. I've had the same kind, and I very much see that as conditioning into systems of separation. And for those of us who are moving out of systems of separation and into systems of community, co creation, collaboration, there's this learning that I can be good at the things that I'm here to be good at, and I can be really bad at the things that I'm not here to be good at. And other people will be good at those things on my behalf. And this is how we help each other. And there's such joy in being able to depend on one another in that way. That is how a healthy ecosystem operates. No one element is doing all parts. And there's a certain kind of violence, self violence, in expecting every person to be good at all things. It's impossible. It keeps us exhausted and burned out.
Thank you. I feel very soothed and softened and relaxed, thinking about the possibility, that open expansiveness of transitioning out of that heavy
Yeah.
expectation. So even self-abandonment. Like if I can't do it all, I'm not good enough.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's a powerful thing to identify and hopefully breathe out and let go. Yeah. I no longer have to do it all. I just want to find those projects that bring me a lot of delight and energy and joy and be good at those. And even if I'm not good at those, immerse myself in those and enjoy them. And if I happen to be good at it, great. But what if we started privileging a little bit more pleasure and enjoyment? I'm going to do the things that I'm enjoying instead of working against myself to do the things that some culture has told me I quote unquote should for quote unquote performance to quote unquote achieve. Let's start unpacking what we really mean by these things. And what would it be like if I followed my inspiration and I did the things that I enjoyed and I became good at it because I'm enjoying it so much?